Full. Sha-la-la-la-la. Full lock, full lock, full lock. All good. And just straight up, straight up, straight up. Okay, so we can agree something failed. That might be the mechanical noise.
Maybe.
And welcome back to the channel at VAG Technique. We are in the garage with the Audi B9, what you've seen on the beginning of the video, which is creating a bit of a funny, expensive noise. And as you can tell, we did remove the filter to diagnose the car. There was loads of metal bits. We also drained the oil, which was a bit metallic, but most of the metallic, I believe, is stuck in the sump because the sump has like a ring which is much higher level than the rest of the sump, and everything will be still inside of it. So in this video, mainly, we'll be stripping the engine down. Just to let you know, there's one engine already stripped down, which has a problem with the piston, which will be a video about it as well. And this is the second one this month. So I believe both of the cars are not stock. This was tuned, and the other one was tuned as well, what we pick up from Audi. So unfortunately, I don't think the tune actually done the damage. Definitely not in the one which came from Audi, because we already seen cracked pistons even on the stock cars with low miles. So unfortunately, on a certain day, the pistons are different part number and they have a bit of a hobby to crack from time to time. So again, I will set up a time lapse. We will leave Philip to strip the engine down, and as soon as we will find something interesting, like I think the turbo will be the first interesting thing to see, and then the bottom end I'll be filming a bit by bit. And once everything gonna be stripped down, we're just gonna check what's the damage, try to find out why it happened, and mainly what will be the solution for such a repair. Full. That's full of oil, you know. Interesting. So far we were just thinking like worst comes to worst, if the rocker arm will fail, need the camshaft. But look what happened here. So this is how the rocker arm failed completely. Done a hole and all the oil actually went into the intake manifold. And that seized up the whole engine probably. So I'm not sure how bad it is, but you can tell for yourself that it is really bad. So always think if you want to do the rocker arms as a prevention, or you want to leave them till they're gonna die with the rest of the engine. So that is from there, you think? Is it? Done, fix, mint. Oi, oi, oi. Ah, there's the hole. Hello. Wonder how the oil get in there. Okay, so progress. Strip the engine down slowly. I'm not sure if you can see it, but this conrod is more like a loosey-goosey. Should be straight, like the neighbor, sort of. This one, we don't know yet. But the question now is, well, we know the oil went into the intake, we shouldn't do, which blew up everything, and the turbo is not good as well. But the main thing is you have to check the crankshaft. Of course, all 6 rods with pistons are coming out, and we will see what will be the outcome and how much it will cost the owner of such an S4 to put it back together. Let me just spin it. And here we are after a whole day of stripping. Mr. Philip done a brilliant job. He teared it to a bare block. We still have the crankshaft in, just to show you how nicely it's spinning. But it will be removed from the engine block for a reason to check it, because there was actually something going on with the piston and the crank. But on the beginning of the video I did say that it will be very hard to identify what actually happened, whatever you've seen behind me. And actually it's quite clear what happened. So let me talk you through a short story. So these are all the critical components with the camshaft, with the cylinder head. We have to take the block as well in account, because what was happening with the crankshaft, this was the spot where it was actually coming together with the piston. The reason why the piston was going so low and hit the crank, because the conrod is loosey-goosey. As you can see, it's a tiny bit bent. Maybe we can straighten up, I'm not sure, we will try, but probably not. And obviously the length from this point to that point was shortened so much that the piston's actually hitting the crankshaft in there. Reason why Mr. Conrod is not straight no more, and it looks like this. It's quite easy. Oil is not really pressable, and if it is, it will have consequences like a bent rod. But unfortunately As we were mentioning in the videos many times before, these cheeky buggers, these rocker arms from Audi, which have actually absolutely no fault, they're absolutely amazing, nothing to worry about, but from time to time they can fail, just like for no reason. And we're getting to the point why it happened. So I spoke with the owner. He told me a short story of his life, that he was driving the car in a normal manner, blah blah blah, and all of a sudden the car starts smoking. So option number one, there was a tapping noise. What somebody told them it's just a high pressure fuel pump, because the high pressure fuel pump, which is mounted on top of the cylinder head, is making tapping noise. But sometimes it's really hard to identify if it's the fuel pump or if it's actually a failing rocker arm. If I own a car like an S4 B9, I will definitely, first thing what I would do the rocker arms. That's like something what you have to count into the price of the vehicle. So in this case, we have a tapping noise, nobody knows for how long, and how everything was spinning nice and freely to a point where it wasn't. The rocker arm bearing, literally the needles completely fell out, as you can probably tell. This is the center pin. Look how where is just no material there. So this was seizing for some time. But in a very short term, what happened is the rocker arm used to be, when it was a rocker arm, over there. This is for the intake. And what actually happened, how it was tapping and seizing, it probably came off the hydraulic lifter around the camshaft, because I don't see any damage on the top of it anyways, but it went somehow around and it gets stuck in there. Again, I'm not sure for how long, because there is some obvious damage. It hit it here and here and here and here and there until it get to this point, and it actually bust a hole in the cylinder head, very precise. So this was in the intake. Luckily, let's say luckily, that wasn't sucked in to the intake, like through the valves and piston, because that will be even more damage then. But that hole, which was busted, is going into the intake manifold. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's my finger to the intake, and from that spray jet, and because obviously the cylinder head is tilted like this, from that spray jet all the oil was actually doing a very special cooling feature to the intake, which is not really good, because oil shouldn't go in the intake in a big amount, because then you will be creating loosey-goosey necks, which is unfortunately very destructive. But the whole point of this damage is get the rocker arms replaced, because you never know what can happen, when it can happen, and how much money you can actually spend on the repair like this. She don't like German shepherds behind the gates. So sometimes when we doing these jobs, you can even get away just replacing the rocker arms when they're tapping, because it just have a slight play in the bearing and you can hear it tap 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 tap, and even the camshafts are not damaged. So that's the cheapest option what you can actually have. The most common is that is tapping so much that the profile of the camshaft is not shiny anymore and is missing the coating, like let's say something happened here as well. And the worst damage so far, if I'm not counting this one, was on the RS4, where actually the rocker arm fell somehow in between the cam and the valve, broke off the valve, which fell into the cylinder and made some internal damage. Also, the turbos went, because all the metallic went through the exhaust into the turbo, which was quite fun. In this case, I'm not sure if it's worse. Probably we don't have to do anything with the engine block. We have to check it, because there is definitely some scratches from the bottom, which I'll show you. But we definitely need, in this case, a cylinder head, which will be probably a second hand, ideally with the camshaft carrier and the camshafts, we will have to do the upgraded rocker arms. Well, we also need pistons ideally with rods. Speaking of the pistons, Philip, what do you say about the condition of the piston? I think have like regular oil changes. Yeah. Long life oil changes.
Long life.
Long life, make your life shorter. New commercial. So I'm not really sure about the rest of the rods because there was quite loads of oil, as you've seen on the footage when we were stripping it down. And I wouldn't definitely recommend to use them again because we don't know. So if we will build this engine, it will be with Vossner forged pistons with H-beam rods because they're actually much cheaper than genuine. And speaking of the engine block, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the damage from the top. But actually down there, the shiny bit, that's a bit missing from the liner because how the conrod was actually bent, it's just damaged the liner as well a bit. But yeah, we have to check it. We will have to check it when we will put the piston in and check till when or where it's actually going to, but I don't think that will have any effect on the engine, even if you're gonna leave it like that. So the main thing now is, and the main question now is if the crankshaft is not damaged anyhow, because obviously it was heated a few times, and if we're gonna build it all up, we have to get everything new. New bearings, new bolts, new gaskets, new timing chains, and of course, camshaft adjusters, the typical question. I think there's your answer. I don't have to say anything. So yeah, more things. So that's the situation with the B9s, where we actually at the moment working on one pair a week, sort of. If it's a rocker arm replacement, fan noises, tapping noises, knocking noises, crack pistons. So it is mostly the early ones, which is 2017 to 2018, because in the UK and Europe, the S4s were diesel ones. So the 3-litre petrol somehow disappeared from the market, which is a bit of a shame because after 2019 they actually sorted out the issue. So it will be a lovely engine to have. The closest you can get is RS5, RS4 with the 2.9s, which we don't actually do that much after 2019 because all the issues with the rocker arms, intercoolers, exchanges should be sorted from the factory. So that's pretty much it from the video. There's nothing else what I would say about this funny story, which is quite sad on the end of the day, because for 18, 19 pounds rocker arm, the engine actually failed, which is quite bad for low mileage. Definitely don't forget to leave us a comment why we start the car up. The reason why we start the car up because we want to hear it knocking, so you don't actually have to be worried but that there was more damage done, because the damage was already done, and unfortunately there's not much more what we can say without the started engine. So it was definitely interesting to see it running because the owner actually just told us like it's smoking white, so we thought like it can be a turbo, it can be something else. But after it's fully stripped down, again, rocker arm. So we're filming the videos for last 2 or 3 years with the rocker arm issue. There's still people saying it's not an issue. I'm not saying it is an issue, but it can be an issue anytime if you have the old shape ones. So something to consider, get it done, because it's much cheaper to get it done as a prevention than building an engine for 10 grand. So we will do a quotation for the owner of this S4. Don't know how much will it be, depends on what we'll need to actually change. And we'll keep you updated if we'll be building the engine. We'll definitely build the engine which is somewhere over there from the one which came from Audi. That will be a fully forged engine, but so far none of the owners are brave enough to fully send it, so it will be a fully stock car with a forged engine. But that will be another video. So thank you for watching, guys, and we will see you in the next one.